Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and welcome back to Rotary Around the World. Now this is the show where you guys submit your Rotary cars and I show them off here. So, before we get started, just a couple little things. First of all, if you'd like to submit your Rotary car for the next episode, email it to submit@rotarylife.org. I'll leave that down at the bottom of the screen. And second of all, as you can see, I am in front of a green screen. Now, I didn't chroma key it out. I didn't put anything back there, mainly because I'm wearing tie-dye and this would probably mess it up. And I'm too lazy to change. But in future episodes, I might still use the green screen, so if you want to send me a background to use, send that with your Rotary car or just send it as its own email. But let's get into it. Alright, so the first one comes from Unlucky7, and he says, I have a 1990 FC RX-7 GTX, basically a Turbo 2 in the States. I'm currently stationed in Florida as a sailor. I never intended to buy an RX-7 ever. I was supposed to buy a Skyline whenever I got back to deployment from Japan. Instead, I got this beautiful RX-7. When the car was running, I had upgraded turbo, Greddy boost controller, RE Amina speedometer cover, aftermarket boost gauge, R-Magic shift knob with short throw shifter, 17-inch Volks racing wheel, still don't know what the actual name of the wheel is. The reason my car is dead is because higher boost with upgraded turbo on a stock engine. I'm in the process of getting my engine in a few days with a street port. Hopefully my car is of interest enough for you to get featured on your channel. Awesome looking Turbo 2. Did not know that they were called GTXs, but that's really cool. Thank you. Alright, and we got another submission from Josh C., also known as Rototurd, here on YouTube. So the car that he sent me, he calls Rototurd. It's an 82 RX-7, possibly a GS, he's not exactly sure. 85 GSLSE trans, 84 GSLSE rear end and running gear, T3 coilovers all the way around with camber plates and rear lowering brackets, T3 seat bracket, LRB door cards, Maxxis Victra VR1 tires, 200 treadwear, Grant steering wheel with the NRG quick release, and eBay Miata short throw shifter. The motor is a 13B 6-port street port, Weber 48 IDA carb with racing beat intake, 2 MSD 6AL2 igniter boxes, eBay radiator, MSD blast coils, high vibration, working heat and AC, since he drives it to and from track days, and a Carter fuel pump with a Holley regulator. So Josh has an awesome car. We've gone back and forth before, and hopefully I'd love to do a video with him at some point down the road. But seriously, go check out his videos, Rototurd. He's been documenting his first gen build as well. Next one is from Max with his 88 RX-7 GTU with 36,000 miles. Looks fairly stock, but it looks really clean, and I really like the look of it. That's all he sent was the 36,000 miles. But thank you, Max, for sending that in. It's always good to see a clean FC that hasn't been destroyed by drifters quite yet. Hey Zach, this is my 94 FD 13B Stockport Garrett GT35R Turbo, pushing 244 horsepower. I recently painted it true green. The car is still a work in progress, but this is how far the build has come in a couple of weeks. I'm going to get another dyno tune done on it, and I'm guessing it'll make around 400 to 450 wheel horsepower and 17 PSI of boost. Right now I'm messing with the fitment of 3 spokes and installing new parts. Why is such a mess with the picture with the bumper off when it's green? I love this car and I've put lots of time and money into it. This just goes to show that if you work really hard for what you believe in, you can achieve anything. Love your videos and keep up the good work, and I hope to drive down to 7 stock and meet you. Awesome. Actually, I'm really trying to go to 7 stock this year, so it's funny that you mentioned that. But it's good to see FDs getting some love. I know that FDs are coming hard, or becoming harder and harder to come by. So it's really nice to see people still enjoying and modifying FDs and not just keeping them, you know, to then make money down the road. Next one comes from David. Hi, my name's David. I live in New Jersey. I'm 22 years old. This is my story. My dad passed away 5 years ago and left me his 84 GSL. I grew up watching him and his friends swap different 12As and 13Bs into their FBs, either street ported or bridged. I always loved how light the FBs are, and this is my progress project car. Stockport 12A RB racing beat intake, manifold Holley carb, racing beat header, custom mid-pipe, and dual-tip muffler. Currently, I have a Stage 2 Exetti clutch, lightweight flywheel, and I have all the poly bushings except for Wattslink, Tokiko shocks, 2-inch drop springs, and a 3-row radiator, as well as the old-school 3-piece hatch spoiler. Hope this isn't too long to post. P.S. Remember the world goes round and round, not up and down. So that's a really cool story. I really like the fact that you've kind of carried on your father's legacy. I think that's amazing. And I think it's awesome to see that you're working on that. And those are actually really solid mods, especially the lightweight flywheel and all the bushings. A lot of people underestimate doing bushings, but it can make a huge difference. Alright, the next one is from Brian. This is my automatic 85 RX-7 GS12A. Everything in this car is original except for racing bead headers and Weld factory wheels. Everything else is factory. So actually another really clean FB. Gotta love a clean FB. I really like that. It's a little too big for my personal taste, but I really like the sticker on your back window. That's really cool to see. And honestly, I've been kind of looking into maybe buying an automatic FB if it comes around for the right price, and maybe daily it for a little while. I drove an automatic FB. There definitely is a power loss as opposed to other FBs. They're stick shift ones, but it's still an FB. It's still fun, and I don't know, maybe it'd be fun to daily one for a little while. The next one is from Tristan. Hi, my name is Tristan from Adelaide, Australia. This is my RX-8 early S1 with 155,000 kilometers on it. Still running like clockwork, unopened Renesis engine. I picked up this beastie up in October, and the only things I've had to do is bash out the catalyst, managed to burn my elbow really well too, change the plugs, coils, leads, and electric steering rack. It has a cloth interior, which I don't mind, as leather would be painful to own in the summer. I also still have a shirt in pic with owner's manual cover that I bought in Adelaide Motor Show when the car was launched, so bragging rights there. The only other things I've done so far is change the interior lights to LEDs, same with the low beams and the rear plate lights. Other than that, she's a little screamer. Love your videos, mate. Keep it up. Well, that's really cool. You got one of the original RX-8s. His was built in December of '03, and RX-8s came out in '04. So that's really cool that you got really one of the first RX-8s, the first modern rotary. I guess the FD was kind of modern, but I mean the RX-8 was made in the 2000s. So I'd say obviously it's a lot more modern than the FD, but that's really cool that you have kind of a piece of history there. Alright, so this one comes from Callum. My baby is a 1991 RX-7 Turbo 2 Euro spec. So these are the pictures from when his mom originally sold it in 2003. Well, actually, it was never ended up being sold. Basically, what happened is his parents had the car. They loved the car, driving it around, but they couldn't really afford to keep it on the road, so they parked it up, and I'll switch to those pictures of after it's been parked until 2016, where he washed it up, which you could see the before and after wash pictures and all that sort of stuff. And for the people wondering what condition the interior is in, it is perfect. I was amazed when I opened up the door and the condition was so good. It was a little cobwebby covered, but that's fine. Bet you Americans are jealous of my 2+2, haha. Yes. I would love to ride in a 2+2 FC. I've been in a FB that was 2+2, but not an FC. Now jump forward to the 11th of April 2017, the day I finally moved the car to my new house with my garage to go with it. So basically, he's actually rebuilding this car that has sat for quite some time, which is really cool to see a Turbo 2 RX-7 being revived. And not just left to rust away. It's really cool to see that story. So thank you for sending that in. The next one is from Simon. Hey Zach, my name is Simon T. I'm from Louisiana and a longtime fan. Your videos have really convinced me to get into cars, especially rotaries. My first RX-7 was an '84 FB GSL. So 1 year older than mine, which I drove as a daily for weeks. I eventually picked up an '85 GS chassis, which I'm currently in the process of doing a full restoration on, including bridge porting my 12A with a Weber, and also taking parts from the GSL because it was originally an automatic and the chassis has some rust issues. I'm from a very small town, and this is the only other man who drives a rotary that I know of. Oh, this is nice that he included that. But thank you, Simon, for sending in your FB. Also, serious double points for having the rose sticker on your car. You know what? For that, you get the thumbnail, good sir. Next up is Paul. Really rare example of a fully working RX-7 FC. Just recently fixed the last of its issues with my car. Then the only thing wrong is the alternator belt won't stay tight. It's actually a really common issue with FCs and really rotaries in general. it's hard to keep the belts tight. I'd highly recommend getting a dual pulley setup. That's what I'm going to do eventually. Atkins sells one, actually. Funny how this car's first owner was an old lady who used to use it as her daily driver, as she loved it and was sad to part with it. The second owner was a Russian who rarely drove it and then passed it on to me. This is my daily driver and I love it to bits. The looks I get while I'm driving on the road are unforgettable, and the way it brings people together is downright epic. And I have to agree with that. That's really the whole point of this video series, is showing that, you know, all the different stories behind people's Rotaries. So thank you, Paul. I appreciate your email. Next one is from Kenneth, and he sent some pictures. 83 from California in the paint shop. So it's an FB. He sent some photos over of that. It's an automatic, but I really like those wheels. I don't know what wheels those are, but I would love to run wheels like that on my FB. Well, that's it for this episode of Rotary Around the World. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your location if you're going to send me a Rotary, which I would highly suggest and would much appreciate. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. There goes a sight from my soul.